Namaste, namaste, beautiful family of light. We are on Facebook Live, along with our beautiful light workers that are on Zoom, along with our beautiful light workers that are here at the Cosmic Center Spiritual Light, which is located in Sarasota, Florida. And many of you are going to get this on your feed a little bit later on. If you do, know that you can participate in this transmission meditation, which has been taking place every single Monday without fail since July 16th, 2007. And so we are going into our 19th year of every single Monday without fail. So, why are we even doing that? Well, because we're consciously aware of what it is that we're doing with the Ascended Masters of Light. We work with the Ascended Realms of Light. We're very clear in terms of what we are aligned with. And we are, ladies and gentlemen, the boots on the ground. We are the boots on the ground. So you figure like this, part of the Anchor Light transmission is said many times that we are great alchemists. And the reason why they're saying we're the great alchemists is that, we chose to come into this physical body in a physical world. Now, a new name is an avatar. Okay. And, these new names and new awareness and new consciousness is reflected into our environment as we are growing, beginning to understand, ascending in our own individual right, as well as collectively. It is expressed on the outside. So, I never really heard the word avatar before until the movie Avatar. Okay. And the idea is that the body, it was the spirit, it was the people that went into that avatar, just like how you have video games. You could choose what you want to look like in the video game, your name, what you look like, you can have ears, you could do whatever you want. You could select the body that you want. Well, what I wanted to talk about was the experience that we had in Hot Springs, Arkansas, which was phenomenal. We went there for a specific purpose, and that purpose was to do a grid. And I see Marvin is here. He was very much helpful in doing that, where we had very intentional to put forth our intentions, our prayers for the upliftment and the coming for a new age, not the fall, but the ascension, not just for the individuals, for the entire planet and for all of her life. For those that are awake and aware and they're like, well, I don't know, I think I should do something, whatever that is, whatever calls for you, that is what you should do. Because guess what? Each and every single of us holds an important, and I do mean important, puzzle piece. Okay, you might be the person that says, gee, I need to write a book, or gee, I really feel I love children, I need to be around them to help them, support them. However that comes for you, if there's a sense like I feel I should do this, you do not ignore that, because we have to get used to the higher parts of ourselves trying to communicate with us. Okay, when we can start to tap into the higher parts of ourselves, I will tell you, everything moves with grace and ease. Now, with this trip, it was a divine directive. It was from Thoth. You may know Thoth as the Egyptian god. He's the one that has the ibis nose. Okay, you see him with a plate because he's the scribe. He is compared to Hermes Trismegistus. In fact, he has come in many incarnations. In the Greeks, they call him Hermes, and also Enoch. He's the Enoch. Enoch was a scribe. So you could say that these are an archetype, and they can fall into different cultures, in different personalities in different ways, but hold that energetic of that particular archetype. So we went there because if you know the story of Atlantis, okay, Atlantis had very advanced technology, okay, and which we do now today too. Look what's happening with us, using crystals and chips in our computers. Okay, so there's a lot of parallel that's going on. The Atlantis also, like we are, is in the creation of what Jesus the Christ called the mixture. You have the light and you have the dark, or you have the service to self or the service to others. There's this dynamic. But ideally, what we want to do is rise above the duality, the mixture. We want to go into the higher frequency vibration, okay, of ascension, not a fall. up, down, rise, fall, rise, fall. They were all kind of, we've done that a couple of times where there's the opportunity for a real ascension in the cycles of time. And so everyone plays a part. We are the boots on the ground. We have the ascended realms of light, but they're not in a physical body. We are. We are the ones that said, we'll come in. Okay, and there's some reasons for being here, and it's not a simple thing, and there are many layers. Well, I'm just talking about this particular layer with a particular group of souls that seem to come into this world and say, I don't think I fit here. I'm not comfortable here. What's going on here? It's like from little, you're like, why are things the way they are? Something's not right. There's some resonant field within you, a cosmic memory deep embedded in your DNA consciousness that you know that there is another way. You hold a spark, it's deep, deep in the memory. And my goodness, when we come into a physicality, okay, you could say that is the energetic, I'll use the word cage or vibration that we're in this resonant field. We have a physical body that's extremely limited, or the avatar body. You can only see and taste and hear and touch, but there's so much more. Really, what's going on, where the action is in the invisible realms. That's where the action is. And the invisible realms is where it's going on that's impacting this realm over here. So, as we have to begin to figure things out, as we have to start to trust, if you can remember yourself as a little kid, when things just didn't make sense. Maybe you went to Sunday school or catechism or whatever it is, whatever religious training or non-religious, whatever it is, but you kind of looked at the world and say, I have a lot of questions. Why are things the way they are is just making sense to me. And it's really that questioning where it starts your seeking. You're seeking. You become a child that seeks the light, seeks information. So, what we did is for those who have, and many of us have embedded within us the memory, the cosmic memory of Atlantis, the cosmic memory of Mu, the cosmic memory of Lemuria, and there's many other ancient civilizations. This planet has been around for a very, very long time. And many of us have incarnated many, 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 many times here to bring us to who and what we are today. But yet, we have never forgotten, okay, that spark that holds with us, defined in different names. Jesus the Christ said, it is the temple. Yes, we do take care of our body. It's important, okay, because it is the temple. The temple of what? The spark of where we come from. And that's what I really want to talk about, because this is real important. Now it's time for revelations of truth. And what truth? Truth as you understand it and say, this resonates with me. There has been, and I've talked about it before, lots of information, okay, that we have not had access to, and we may not have access to, but somehow we have some sense of memory in us, okay, that still kind of guides us. And one of the things I want to say, and I've been doing a very deep dive in this, and many of you know this, when I was in Arkansas, of course, we did the Emerald Tablets by Toth the Atlantean, okay, and this was by Doriel, different from the Emerald Tablets of the Philosopher's Stone and the Alchemy. That's one thing. This is another thing, and it is the Emerald Tablets. It's said to be, according to Doriel, and the paw of the Sphinx in Egypt. There's a lot of information, and he's not the only one that says this. Many people say that under that paw, under the Sphinx, is a lot of information. Well, many of us have just heard that with, a penetrating sonar, they're picking up structures under the pyramid. But most certainly, the Ancient of Days do speak about having the knowledge of humanity is in the caretaker of that Sphinx, on the Sphinx. But the interesting part about that is the Emerald Tablets, which was, the story goes, he went to Egypt, and many of us already know the ascended masters. Some people may call them saints. They have experiences with multidimensional beings. And why? Because we are multidimensional beings, whether that shows up in a dream in your life or you're like, wow, I had this interesting experience. I can't explain it in this 3D world, but I know it was real. However, that shows up for you because you become aware that you are not just this body. Okay. And in the Gnostic Gospels, Jesus in the Gnostic Gospels, which I am a promoter to read the Gnostic Gospels, come to your own conclusions. I feel it's going to trigger you. You're going to have gnosis with those Gnostic Gospels as well as the Emerald Tablets. It is saying you are not this body. You are not you're in the world, as Jesus said, but you're not of it. You come from a high aeon. Some call it Adamus, you're a spiritual being. Okay. And sort of like I say, we're trapped light. Okay. We're trapped light. So we're sort of in a false matrix. And a lot of times you see these movies, they have codes of information in there. Most certainly the Matrix was a really big one that activated a lot of people. I know I had watched that scene with the architect and the oracle when Neo goes to the top. He says, this is the sixth time we have done this. And there was something about that really, I couldn't understand it at the time what it was, but I knew it was important. It triggered some cosmic memory in me. So did Star Wars for many of us. Okay. The idea of being a spacefaring society. Okay. Maybe 100 years ago, that would not be thought of. Now it's like, yeah, that's exactly what we're doing. So there's a lot of stuff that's coming up now, a lot of parallels. And now is our time to ask questions and trust ourselves. That's what I'd like to get that message to. When you go back as a little kid and, when things didn't make sense, gee, I don't understand. That doesn't make sense. Okay, don't drop it. Continue now. Before, we didn't have access to information we have now. As I've said many times, on your phone, you can access the Library of Congress, for goodness sakes. You can get any kind of information that's out there. I go to YouTube University, that's what I call it. Now, let me tell you something else that's happening. As you start seeking and rising in your vibration and beginning to walk your path of authenticity, as you're beginning to say, I am this divine creation and I have abilities, and you can draw your own conclusions, right? I've always wanted to say, well, I'd like to check it out for myself. I honor people's opinion, but that's what it is, an opinion. But then as you look at the world as above, so below is above. Has there not been corruption in this world here now? If it's corruptible now and we're being gaslight, what happened 1,000 years ago or 2,000 years ago? Or people that got that information? And maybe they decided, I want to do this for what? My personal agenda. So I'm simply saying that we are in a position now that we can really check things out for ourselves. We could check it out for ourselves because we will come and find out that all that glitters is not gold. All that's being said and put it out there, you have to go behind and say, well, where does the source of this come from? Where does this information come from? And now there are more and more scholars, okay, that are going further back and connecting the dots with other great bodies of works that talks about our history as a humanity. The one thing that's all being said, including in the Emerald Tablets by Doriel, and Doriel was connected with the Ascended Masters. That's who connected with them. They said, this is the story. He wrote it all down. You read the book and what it says, this is an imagination. This is something advanced information. Of course, we believe that because we work with the Ascended Masters and we know that that's very real. Okay, but I will tell you, when you start to get these type of information, it's not just an intellectual thing that you're reading, it's an emotional thing as well, because it's coded. It's going to start to trigger memory. And even if you don't understand it 100%, as you continue seeking, as you knock on the door, okay, new layers of information will be revealed. New layers of information continue to be revealed, and you're on your path of journey and enlightenment. Now, there is a thing called gnosis. I've mentioned it before. That happened to me about 2 months ago. I didn't even know it was a real thing. Gnosis means knowledge, direct knowledge. But when you have direct knowledge, nobody has to tell you something. You have it direct, which is what the Gnostics talked about. that you don't necessarily have to go through a third party. You hold the image within you and you could go directly. And with that, for those now are waking up to say, that's what I want to do, we have access to knowledge and information that we didn't have before. And as we walk our path of enlightenment, as we become gnosis, not just faith, but knowing, a deep knowing, okay, this is how we get out of the cage. Okay. I'm so excited about that, and that's for everybody's on their personal journey. We do know that we are connected to the ascended realms of light. We've had avatars of light that have come in. Why they're coming here in this density, this 3D world, is to wake up for us to remember who we truly are. We are in a dream state. In India, the East, they call it Maya. The new term for it is now called the Matrix, or simulation is a more up-to-date term being used. The idea there's an aspect of us, okay, that's someplace else, and we are in these avatar bodies. So there's a lot more to the story. I will go into that at another time. And I really do feel that what I am going to do, I'm going to go and do a deep dive into gnosis and share that with other people so everybody can have gnosis for themselves, not have to take it from me or anybody else. It's an inner knowing. It's real. It's like the gifts of the Holy Spirit. It absolutely 100% happens. It's a real thing. So with that, I'm going to say namaste to Facebook Live. And to our beautiful light workers. Again, if you want to be part of the transmission meditation, just go on our Facebook page. You'll see Anchoring Light Transmission Meditation with Baba Shimon. Sign up and you'll be getting the information for that every Monday. Namaste, Family of Light on Facebook Live.